They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry!
Okay, so we're going to go through and we are going to be looking at some centers here. Obviously, first overall pick, we know where you're going. But I mean, outside of that, I think there is some conversation to be had with where you're going with your fourth and fifth option at the center position. Now, essentially, if you can be eligible for a center, it doesn't matter if you're a power forward and a center. We're just throwing you in the center bucket. Of course, you can technically call them a forward, but we'd rather just label it as a center because we understand that, I mean, there are going to be a million forwards that you can look at. And yeah, of course, as always, go down there, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment with your top 5 centers. I'm going to be talking with Garrett right here, someone significantly smarter than I am with fantasy basketball, so he can really lead this conversation. And Garrett, are you want to just jump right into this with our first overall player that nobody's going to be surprised by?
I'd like to start off. I don't know about significantly smarter, but yeah, we'll jump right in. Obviously, it's Jokić. He's the guy you want. He's the potentially number 1 overall player in fantasy, let alone centers. He gets the minutes. He averages, or is probably going to average, around 35 minutes per game. He's been relatively durable for a center. If you're in a categories league, and I will mention that my rankings is points league, but if you're in a category league, you know, he's going to kill it on the field goal percentage. He can shoot his free throws. And then for points, he's probably going to get somewhere between 25 and 30 points per game. He's going to get you the rebounds. He's going to get you the assists, which is pretty uncommon for the center position. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he averaged 8 or 9 assists per game this year. And he's relatively okay with turnovers. I mean, he's obviously not great. He's probably going to have like 3 turnovers a game, but when you're have the ball in your hands that much, that's fine. And I would love to have Jokić on my team this year.
And I'm not going to lie, while I'm an idiot when it comes to fantasy basketball, you know, my number 1 target was in drafts last year, Nikola Jokić. I mean, just a player that, especially for category leagues, like you already covered it, but for a center to be able to get you close to 8 assists a game in a category format, that is like, it's unheard of. So if like you're playing in an auction in its category, I know these are not necessarily the exact formats that we're talking about, but you have to at least address it. And knowing that he's not going to tank you at any of the efficiency spots either with free throw percentage, field goal percentage, he is just literally a unicorn. Like, it's impossible to find anybody nearly this valuable.
100% agree. He's the number 1 center, number 1 player overall this year for me as well. Let's move into number 2. And for me, that is Karl-Anthony Towns. This one's a little bit riskier. I like Cat a lot, but I am worried. You know, there were some cryptic tweets coming out when there were some personnel changes. You know, there's always that trade rumors with Cat and unhappiness rumors with Cat, but I'm going to try to not factor that in as much as humanly possible because he's still a beast. He's somewhat similar to Jokić. He's going to, you know, in categories leagues, he'll be fine with the field goal percentage. He'll be fine with the free throw percentage. He's going to be hitting threes. He's going to be getting you the points. I think he'll probably get somewhere between 24 to 27 points per game. I think he's going to be a beast. He's going to get you the rebounds, and there's not a lot to dislike about Cat this year.
Yeah. So with Cat, like, honestly, are you more excited about Minnesota with what we're going to be getting here? Obviously, they have some young talent. Like, if they can get a little bit better, I think that you would have to be not as worried about what we're going to have at the end of the year, possibly shutting him down, because that was obviously a big concern at the end of last season.
It's just tough because they're in the West, right? Yeah. I think that the East and the West are a little bit closer than they have been in previous years, but I still would be surprised if the Timberwolves were in the playoff hunt. You know, I know that they're doing the playoff tournament, so it's the 10 seed gets to play in. Maybe they could reach that. Still a little bit concerned there. But you know, for fantasy purposes, that's not even that terrible of a thing because hopefully Cat will just start ripping off shots when his team's down. So when it comes to fantasy, I think he'll be okay. And if he gets traded, which, you know, I really don't anticipate happening. If anything, there's a lot of Ben Simmons to Timberwolves rumors. So maybe that'll actually help out Cat by kind of, you know, getting another facilitator to kind of pass him the ball. So we'll see how that goes, but I do like Cat at number 2.
Awesome. Well, you want to dive into our third guy right here?
Yeah. So this one's kind of a toss up for me again. We're actually going to be labeling Giannis as a center just because he does have center eligibility. I know he's more of a power forward, but we decided, you know, if you have center eligibility, let's throw him in. Giannis has an ADP of 2. I mean, I think he's pretty much the second player drafted off the boards. I think that's a mistake, especially in categories leagues. Points leagues, it makes a little bit more sense because he's going to kill it on the rebounds. He's going to kill it on the points. But his free throw percentage, my God, it's not good. It's, he's also prone to turnovers, but he is a defensive machine. So I do think that I'm going to list him above my fourth player, which is Embiid, but I think that I'd rather have Giannis over Embiid, especially in a points league.
Yeah, so with Giannis, obviously, it just really comes down to that free throw percentage for a category format. And that's why you'll see like his ADP or something is a little bit lower, whereas ADP is actually at like 3.2. And if you're looking at his projections for a category format, it's down there at 10, according to #basketball.com. I think it's very clear cut. I mean, you kind of exactly know what you're going to get from Giannis. You're going to be elite with points, rebounds, decent with assists. I mean, good as steals, blocks. It just comes down to that free throw percentage.
Yeah, and man, if you could just, I know in the playoffs he did it a lot better, and then the championship he stopped doing that run the floor, stop and take a three.
Yeah.
If he just eliminated that from his game, I think he would immediately become more of a fantasy asset. And he just did what he did best, which is just drive to the basket every time. But maybe he learned, and maybe that'll be an improvement, and then I'll bite my words when he actually outplays Cat. But for now, I think I'm going to put him at 3.
And you can kind of tell like that exact play is just, with how these organizations are so analytical. They're like, yeah, Giannis, you need to be taking more threes. We need you at like 3 3-point shots a game. He's like, okay, here's one.
Yeah.
Here's one. We'll put it up there.
Yeah, I hope someone just needs to make him stop doing that. But number 4, I have Embiid. Embiid, a little riskier because he is often injured. But other than that, I mean, he has a great field goal percentage every year. He actually hits his free throws, which is one of the knocks on Giannis. His threes, obviously not that great. He's not known for being a 3-point shooter, but his points are great. His rebounds are going to be great. He'll even get you pretty average on the assists. He'll probably get you like, I don't know, anywhere from 1 to 5 a game. He'll probably average somewhere close to 2.5, 2. Yeah, and he's good on defense. So he's just your prototypical center. And I like him this year. I think he'll be good. If Ben Simmons gets traded, maybe they'll get a score, so it'll open things up a little bit more. So we'll see how that plays out. But for now, Joel Embiid comfortably locked in at 4. In a categories league, I might even take him over Giannis. But for points league, I think I'd take him at 4.
So with Embiid, you're saying that if you think Simmons is gone, it's going to like actually help him out, even if they bring in someone that can be a little more ball dominant?
I think it could. I think it really could, because I mean, with Ben Simmons, if you have him on the floor, you're going to not be as worried about the perimeter shooting, right? Like you're going to kind of play another guy in because Ben Simmons has the ball, so you're going to clog the paint. Well, that's where Joel Embiid works, right? So say you go get CJ McCollum for Ben Simmons or something of that nature, you're going to have to cover the perimeter a lot more, which means one less person for Embiid to kind of post up on. So I actually do think, even though there may be more offensive weapons around Embiid, maybe he'll take off his offensive load, I think he'll be more productive.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely could understand like the argument that you would see his efficiency numbers go up, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It would just be more so like if do field goal attempts per game go down. But
yeah, it might. But I mean, the 76ers want their star to score, right? Like they're not going to not rely on Joel Embiid. So if they get someone who's a little bit more productive, I think it's just going to improve his efficiency, and maybe his usage takes a little hit. But I think that the counterbalancing the two, I would be fine with it. So I'm not too concerned if Ben Simmons leaves.
Awesome. Well, who are we going with for number 5?
So number 5 was a super tough decision for me. I'm going to name 2 guys. I'm going to say that I chose Anthony Davis for number 5. I think that it's Anthony Davis. You know what you're getting. Injury risk, might not play that many games. You're still hoping that he'll play around 70. Field goal shooting's fine. Free throws okay. He'll get you the points. He's a beast on defense. He'll get you the rebounds. He's not that great at assists. You kind of know what you're getting with him. You're getting a star. The second name that I almost put in was Sabonis. I love Sabonis. Johnny probably would have Sabonis ranked in his top 5. Johnny's huge on Sabonis yearly. He's a beast. Sabonis plays more minutes. He, his free throw isn't that great. His field goal is usually better, and he's going to get you the points, and he's going to get you a lot of rebounds. Personally, I'm going Anthony Davis at number 5. I think that there's just a higher floor, I guess you could say. But that being said, I would not be surprised if anyone went Sabonis over AD.
Would you prefer one for like points, one for category? I mean, if you're looking like Anthony Davis, really the only category is going to be tanking you in would be assists compared to Sabonis, where, I mean, it's going to be a little bit less with what you're getting just with the loss of an assist where it's going up. Like I could definitely understand like the argument of having AD in a points format and then maybe Sabonis in the category.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that. Another thing that I think I'd factor in is who I picked in the round earlier. So if I pick someone that's already injury prone, I'm probably going to go Sabonis over AD because I want that less injury risk and that potential to play more games. So say I pick, I don't know, KD, who's going to be, probably resting a lot and probably is going to play less games. I might be more inclined to go Sabonis over AD just because I think that Sabonis is not going to be resting as much. I do like the Pacers this year. I think they'll be a fine team, and I think that they're going to want to compete. So that being said, I think that the Lakers are going to be fine resting AD. So I think that depending on who I picked in the first round will almost dictate who I pick in the second. And I think that that's how I kind of decide.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Well, lastly, we do have to announce that we are going to get a listener league going. So, of course, if you want to be involved in that, you leave a comment down below so we get a good idea. It's going to be a 10-man league, 12-man league, right? Exactly what we're going to be doing. Of course, subscribe to the channel. And Garrett, do you have anything else to say?
Nope, just check out Fantasy News and Brews on Twitter. We'll post details there too. DM us if you want any help with football, basketball, whatever. Leave a comment on this video. Let me know how I screwed up. And yeah, we'll see you next time.